What's going on, everybody? Wake up! Wake up, wake up, wake up. I am making a coffee and Kaspa live stream. Sometimes on Saturday nights, I do a beer and Kaspa live stream. But I didn't do one last weekend. And interestingly, typically I've said when I do my morning live streams, I get really low turnout, as opposed to doing them in the evening. But I did a live stream on Friday morning at this same time last week, and the turnout, as well as the residual views that comes in the next 24 to 48 hours on a live stream, went up to 1,000 views, and I was like, whoa, that's like a normal live stream in the evening during a green month. this last month, or maybe even 5 or 6 weeks at this point, has been horrible for everybody, for all content creators. And especially for me, in the month of September and October, I was getting like 50 new subscribers a week, and just a couple of weeks ago I got like 5 in a single week. I'm like, holy crap, everything is down. But I did have a widely viewed live stream on Friday. So Friday morning. So let's get the party started. Yeah, I made a video about Pippin specifically yesterday. Maybe I want to talk about that today. Go over some stuff with with anything. Just an update. Today is like a mighty red day. And it's a question of what's going to happen. So FinViz. So today we've got a jobs report that is coming out at 10 a.m. So I guess in 30 minutes. So we'll refresh this screen during this live stream. I'll probably still be live in 30 minutes. So, and the hope that we have, the hope that everybody has is I mean, it's really crazy, right? We hope it's a bad jobs report, right? Which is sad because you don't want people to be unemployed and so on. But if there's a bad jobs report, we get all the more reason for an interest rate cut tomorrow. It's up in the air. Like if it's an 80%, like what is it? Let's check it right now. Investor.com, Fed rate monitoring tool. And we have an 85% chance of interest rate cut tomorrow. So it might not happen too. It might not happen. If it doesn't happen, we're going to get some more red, a lot of red. So that'll really suck if it doesn't happen. But we'll see. Time will tell. We'll see what happens today. But the good news is that last week I think there was a year-over-year PCE report came in better than expected. Was it year-over-year? Or whatever it was. It was just one of either month-over-month or year-over-year was a little bit better than expected. So that was good news. So if the jobs reports are great and inflation is cooling dramatically, they'll still cut interest rates because the primary mandate of the Federal Reserve is to keep inflation down, even if the job market suffers. But we'll see we'll see what happens tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, crazy stuff. We still got. Let me open this up again. This trusty chart with this insane amount of selling from the 4-year cycle zombies that don't want to stop selling. So yeah, they're still selling and selling, right? They believe a bear market is coming and therefore they're selling, which is causing the bear market, right? And we just got to break out of it. And it's going to be really, really tough for us to do all that. Like nonstop bullish news everywhere. Here's something I wanted to share. Now look at this. This is absolutely amazing. So Bernstein analysts say Bitcoin has broken its 4-year cycle pattern. Okay, I think we kind of know that right now, right? And is now in an elongated bull cycle, raising price targets to 150K in 2026 and 200K peak in 2027. I've been saying that this top is going to be in 2027 for the last 6 to 8 months right now. And finally, somebody agrees. Like finally. Finally, somebody agrees, right? Wow. 2027. Somebody around here has been talking about 2027 for a very long time, you know? Jeez, I wonder who that is. What's going on? Yeah, I saw your notification. Yeah, as I was setting up this live stream, I saw that. What's going on? Good to have you, man. Yeah, I'll shoot out a message and just to let you know, I guess for all new members, and let you know some of the good picks. We got a ton of picks, right? The primary goal, of my community with all these picks is that we have these automated bots that find really good tokens, and the goal is to find like every single goddamn token that'll pump, right? We're not there yet, obviously, but we've had some really good plays. So yeah, I mean, it's as long as we get a good green month, we get some amazing gains. And even coincidentally, over the last few weeks, we had amazing gains with some meme coin, a meme coin of all coin. You would think an AI coin or something like that, but no. Pippin has been ripping, right? The amazing ripping Pippin has been pimping. And yeah, it's been absolutely crazy with these last few weeks with Pippin. It's unreal the way that thing has been pumping. But yeah, in green months, man, we are completely overwhelmed in green months. You ask any of the members about what happened in September and October, man, we were like overwhelmed with taking profits and all this craziness. Oh my God, it's nuts. Yeah, I know the market sucks. Yep. Yeah, it sucks. But sometimes it's a good thing, at least in my community, because, we have that swing trading software. And yeah, Parker, yeah, I'll make sure you look at that introduction video too. I talk about that too. But yeah, when the market sucks and things go down, at least we have that swing trading software to keep track of our trades that when we sell high and we want to buy back in low, and it's really awesome. So, we sell things when they pump and then they go back down. We buy back in at the same dollar amount. Well, we end up with more tokens. So in the long run, it's freaking awesome. You know how many trades I did with Pippin over the last year. So it's like crazy. So ever since I got into it, back in January, and I missed that initial pump. That initial pump with Pippin, right? Because the insider alert, the advanced bot in my community found it. And I remember it's crazy. If you saw my video, and I explained it in my video yesterday, that I was feeling sick. And I sent a message to my community, because sometimes we chat about the insider alert tokens before we play them or something like that, and if they're good or not. And I'm like, this one looks pretty good. And, it had an initial pump, and then it had this double bottom, an opening day had a pump. And I think it's gonna do something, right? Then I just went to sleep, and I woke up and it was a God candle. I was like, no, like Darth Vader, no. I did a 17x, and then I didn't get into it because I was sick. Man, that sucked. But I got into it afterwards, and it came back down. And I've been swing trading all year. And these last 3 weeks, Pippin has been ripping. It's crazy. What else we got going on? Nothing but bullish news. I wish we'd have spread the word to some of these 4-year cycle zombies who believe that the cycle is over. Because it is good, like I was just saying, it is good when things go down because we can buy back in, but it kind of sucks, and at the same time too, because we were expecting a really, really nice run up at the end of the year, and like we can't get above that 50-week moving average if these long-term holders just keep selling. They keep selling. They believe in the 4-year cycle so much, at least some of them, right? So much that they're willing to sell at a loss. And there's a lot of them that are selling at a loss, right? Because this chart right here shows them selling at a loss. And these are short-term holders as well. Some of the long-term holders are selling at a loss. Some of the long-term holders are just, they bought Bitcoin so far back that they're going to be in profit no matter what. And yeah, supply and health, and it doesn't necessarily mean that not every long-term holder is selling, right? Not everyone. Most of them, based on my conversation with Grok, most of the sellers are the ones that have less Bitcoin in their bag, right? The ones who have like more than 1,000 Bitcoin are not selling. They're hodling and accumulating. I guess this is, they probably get better advice based on the amount of money that they have in terms of the amount of value they have, or obviously the amount of Bitcoin they have, or something like that. Because I think to be honest, I think it's a big wealth transfer from us who are trying to stay in the game to well, from them to us, right? Because a lot of people believe in this 4-year cycle and they're willing to sell at a loss. They're out of crypto. They're selling to us. You know, they're selling to the rest of us who are staying in the game. So it's a wealth transfer from the ill-informed to us. Like, it's crazy that they're listening to their favorite TA guy, and they're just selling. In the long run, things are just going to start shooting up, right? They're selling into QE. It's nuts. Like I was saying in the past, if you saw, I published 2 videos yesterday, but the first video I published, I was saying that everything is completely inverted from how it used to be in the past. In the past, the long-term holders will sell in a rally, and they would sell to new market participants. New market participants would sell close to the top or at the top. No, I'm sorry, they would buy close to the top or at the top, and the long-term holders would sell to them and take profits. And this time around, there are no new market participants because the hype wasn't generated yet to bring them in. And like it's flipped around. The long-term holders are not selling at a rally. They're selling on the way down. It's crazy. Like, I look at it, I was like, why the hell would you sell at a local bottom? It's nuts. And not only that, in the past, when the new market participants started selling because they bought near the top or at the top, they sell 2 months later, 4 months later, 6 months later, 8 months later. They realize that they're at a loss and they just want to get out before it keeps going down. And just like, okay, fuck it, I'm out, And that's what happens in the crypto winter over the 12-month bear market. The ones who bought up high are selling low. And they got wrecked or whatever, and they need the money. They don't want to keep losing. But they're also selling into QT, right? By the time the top happens, typically by the time the cycle top happens, QT has already started. QE has ended and QT has started. So they're going deep into QT, expecting the price to go up, which it's not. And they're causing the price to go further down because they keep selling. That's what happens in a crypto winter. And again, this time around, it's all inverted. QT has already ended, and QE is just getting started. And the new market participants are not the ones selling because they haven't even arrived yet. The ones who are selling are the long-term holders. It's just like everything is the opposite. It's a complete opposite. So it's crazy, right? So, yo, what's going on? Good morning. If you're in a time zone that's in the morning right now. My expectation is that I don't think anybody would be catching the live stream if they're on the West Coast in the US. But, we'll see. The good thing with the YouTube algorithm is that they'll recommend the live stream to you even if the live stream is like a day or two old. Right? So like what I got, like I don't know how many concurrent users I got in a live stream on Friday. I mean, I don't know if it was like 50 or something like that. However amount of people caught the live stream, 50, 100 on Friday, and it went up to like 1,000 over the weekend. So I'm like, oh wow. And I was surprised because typically I don't get good turnout in a morning live stream. For some reason, whenever I tried it, it was like really low. Look, there's 18 concurrent people right now. I mean, that's crazy, right? So I don't know, something about the mornings right now. So I'm going to try it out. And yeah, so Standard started now expect the Fed to cut rates by 25 basis points on Wednesday. Hopefully that happens. Hopefully that happens. Let's see what happens with the jobs report. Brought up a whole bunch of stuff here. And This is interesting. I don't know about this, if this is going to happen. We'll see how the tariffs play out with income tax, but
that at some point in the not too distant future, you won't even have income tax to pay because the money we're taking in is so great, it's so enormous that you're not going to have income tax to pay.
Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be an interesting selling point to actually keep the tariffs if that happens. But, you know, we'll see what's going to happen. They keep saying that inflation is going to start going up because of tariffs, but they've been saying that for 6 months. You know, it could still happen if there's like a 12-month lag, but Powell has been saying that for a while, and he hasn't been cutting interest rates because of that. And inflation is still not going up. Like the PCE report last week was better than expected. So it's we'll see how this plays out, you know, and hopefully things change for the better. I mean, what they do have to get rid of, not income tax, I think is more ridiculous to have property tax. It's like the most insane thing ever. And I got a post, coincidentally, I got this post right here. UK passes law officially recognizing crypto as property. Now, you know, everybody's applauding officially recognizing crypto as property. Now, is this a good thing or bad thing? Because I know, from my understanding, the UK, you know, like taxes people for crazy things. I remember, I don't know if it's still happening, but it's so ridiculous. I remember before I started working professionally, and you know, when I was like a teenager, I was like 19 or something, 20, I was working in a grocery store, and it was a small grocery store. One of my coworkers was British, and she said that you have to pay like a yearly license to have a colored TV. And she was telling her mom that's the most ridiculous thing ever. You know, her mom back in England. So I was like, holy crap. The things the governments make you do is absolutely insane. I don't know if that's still like that, because if it's so ridiculous, then maybe they eventually stopped it. But that was, you know, that was a while ago. And I was like, what the hell? But it's crazy. You know, like in the state of Connecticut has property tax on not houses, but other properties, like they put a property tax on like your equipment or something like that, or your car, and like a property tax. Like it's like, you know, having a property tax on your property makes it not your property. You're literally renting it from the people you're paying the tax to. That's all you're doing. You're renting it. If you're paying property tax on your house, it's not your house. It's the government's house, and you're paying rent. So that's just the craziest thing. If anything, I mean, in my opinion, I don't want to get this into like a political live stream, right? But in my opinion, the property tax is absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. In a free country, there's property tax has no place. But that's just me. So this is a good thing, a bad thing. So that's the thing. Okay, crypto is now property in the UK. So what does that mean? They can tax the shit out of it like they do with everything else? I don't know. Anyways, enough with the political stuff. Let's get back into the real stuff. All right. Elon Musk says X is seeing record breaker downloads in Europe, and I question that too. I guess this goes along with the political stuff. I question if a lot of people in Europe are seeing X as a platform where they can talk more freely about things without being silenced and canceled and all the other stuff. So it's interesting. I mean, people are, you know, desire the need to be free, you know, and it's like, they people in general like authority, but at the same time, when authority starts cramping down on them and making their life difficult, it's like, wait a minute, you know, what do we do? You know, we got to change this, and eventually it gets to a breaking point over time. But you know, I don't know. I digress. This was a funny post that I saw. I sincerely hope that the 10 billion robots roaming in the streets within 10 years won't rely on centralized CDNs, or content delivery networks. So this was it was a couple of days ago, right? What's today's date already? It's already the 9th, so it was 4 days ago. So Tether's CEO mocked Cloudflare after its latest outage. Yeah, I hear about that a lot. A lot of this where like AWS or Cloudflare or something like that. There's some big servers taking down like half the sites on the internet, and it's I don't remember things like that happening years ago. It was more like on an individual basis because they had their own. The company themselves had their own server farms. You know, it wasn't like every single website that you needed was just down. That's just nuts. That's like, and it goes, you know, with the whole idea of the decentralization factor, you know, like with crypto, decentralized and so on. So everything is centralized to a point that if one service goes down, then so many other companies go down with it. It's crazy. That's like absolutely crazy. I was talking about this like a couple weeks ago, this concept of the interplanetary file system, IPFS. So it's this concept where it replaces HTTP. So HTTP is really based on the idea that you're sending a request and you get a response to a centralized server, to a server that's somewhere, right? But there has to be a server in that geographical location. So that's HTTP, you know, a hypertext transfer protocol. That's HTTP. But if you're running a website off of the IPFS, is decentralized everything. So IPFS, and I know a lot more about IPFS separate from Filecoin. It's like I know that Filecoin is something related to it, and I'm not really sure. Maybe one of these days I'm going to deep dive into Filecoin, but IPFS is more like a torrent. If you're familiar with torrents, where if you're downloading a movie over BitTorrent and you're just getting chunks of the data of the movie from other people who already have the movie, like all over, and you're getting chunks of the data from people who have that movie and who are closest to you, so it becomes really faster, right? So if you download a movie from some server on some website, it takes a long time, but if you're downloading a movie over over BitTorrent, it's like extremely fast. You just connect to like 10 or 15 or 20 different people, and you just start getting data from like everybody who's around you, who's closest to you, that has that movie, who's sharing it. So the interplanetary file system works under that same principle. So when you're browsing the internet, you're getting little bits. It's like you're streaming in bits, right? So like megabits per second and so on. So you're getting bits from people who are all around you. And that's the whole concept with decentralization of everything. So it's like you can't control it then. If China wants to restrict some particular website, they can't do it because, okay, now they'll put a restriction and the company will try to comply. It was like, okay, we're not going to serve these web pages to China just because I want to respect the laws. But if the company is just distributing their pages to the interplanetary file system, they have no control over it, because if the other people who are near China want to share it to people who are in China, it's out of their hands, it's out of the company's hands. That's just actually pretty good about it. It's just no government can control it. Decentralize everything, I say. It's just much better. And the reason why it's called the interplanetary file system is because one day when somebody's living on the moon or on Mars and they're accessing the internet, and all they need is to have they have the nodes on Earth to sync to the nodes on the moon. People who actually who are running nodes, or Mars. So anybody who's on the moon accessing the web page doesn't have to wait. I guess Mars is a better example. I think from the moon it's like it's like a 1 light second or something like that. But I mean, on the Mars it's like over a minute. So you don't have to wait like 2 minutes to send the request back to our server on Earth and then wait for the response. So you got 5 minutes later, you're loading the web page. No, you're requesting the web page from the people in the next habitat over, and you get it instantly. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, that's all this stuff. I saw this on a video. This is Kaspa related, and what should I call it? I saw this. What's this guy's name? It's a YouTuber, Money and Me or something, Money and I. And I was it was kind of crazy. I don't know what, 2030. And he said this, I was like, what the hell? And I looked up this article. This has got to be the most ridiculous thing ever. And to give you some context, here, let me Code Monkey Mike, and go to my video. I want to pull up a comment. Yeah, Kaspa. I'm gonna share a comment. It was actually pretty funny. You know what? Maybe I'll be easier to find an X because I posted a screenshot of it. So there's a comment. It had everybody laughing. Everybody gave me a thumbs up on YouTube on that particular comment. So here it is. So I had a video where I was like giving Kaspa a price prediction of $57, right? Going like 10 years out or whatever. And that was the live stream on Friday. The live stream on Friday, right? So when I was talking about Bitcoin eventually is going to have a death day because the miners are not going to be able to support the network, and then it's going to completely collapse, and then Kaspa is going to be there to take its place. So I was like, oh, hypothetical, $57 Kaspa when that happens. And then obviously Kaspa is going to go up much more than $57 if it literally replaces Bitcoin, right? So because of that, this guy comes in on my video on YouTube and he says, I didn't think I'd find anyone even dumber and delusional than Crypto Galaxy. And I responded, I didn't think that guys with small testicles would be watching my channel, yet here you are. So, yeah, easy. I got 10 likes for it. Somebody was like, that's a sick burn. But I think it's even more delusional to think that Kaspa is going to be. Now, listen to this. This is more delusional than that. So, for the long-term horizon, Coin Codex projects that by 2030, right? 2030, we're not talking about 2026 or some bearish price prediction for next year. But by 2030, the price of Kaspa could reach around 11 cents in an optimistic scenario. I'm like, bruh, what the hell? This is delusional, man. You know, Kaspa 10 years out, $57. Which is more delusional? $57 in 10 years or 11 cents in 5 years? To say it's going to be 11 cents means that it can't even keep up with inflation in 2030. If Kaspa is 11 cents in 2030, that means it's a dead project. And we already moved on. That's just, this is like, I don't know what these people are thinking, to be honest. It's like, that's nuts. Unless something happens, like there's a black swan event, you know, Kaspa goes up to $10 by 2030 or $20, and something happens, and just crashes down to 11 cents along with the rest of the market, like something happened, like a war or something equal to the .com bubble implosion, right? The bubble bursting. Which was dramatic, which was even bigger than the Great Financial Crisis of 2008. And then the Great Financial Crisis is even bigger than COVID. COVID was like a blip on the radar. And Bitcoin and crypto wasn't around even in the Great Financial Crisis, and obviously it wasn't around in the .com implosion. And well, yeah, that could happen, like a huge crash, but to think this is an optimistic scenario is ridiculous. So what they're saying is like, there's a huge crash in 2030, and Kaspa was going to be what, like a half a penny? Is nuts. I think that, you know, I have some clowns here in my feed here. Maybe they deserve a couple of clowns. Coin Codex. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, that's that. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. But going back to that, the biggest bubble, you know, the biggest black swan event, aside from a war or something really crazy or an asteroid crashing into the earth or something. I think the AI bubble is probably going to be pretty big, and I don't think it's going to pop anytime soon. I think it's going to keep on growing and growing and growing, and then maybe in 2028, more or less, or 2029, or even 2030, we're going to see like an AI bubble pop. Because right now we're printing, we're going to be printing into, like, what is it? There's this essay from Ray Dalio, printing into a bubble, or QE into a bubble, or something like that. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be like, I think it's going to be a pretty big crash. Hopefully it doesn't happen before the cycle top in 2027, or hopefully it doesn't happen. But like, something like that could. It'll probably be a much smaller crash, right? Because if the bubble keeps growing and growing and growing on into like 2028, 2029, then it's going to be a bigger implosion than if the implosion happens right now. But if the implosion happens right now, over the next 12 months or so, we got that implosion, what we're going to get is a rapid expansion of, a rapid burst of liquidity in the market. Interest rates are going to go to zero. QE is going to go firing off like crazy. It's going to be just like COVID. And then we're going to get a much closer cycle top. So I have been saying a long time, when I've been doing all these analysis and all stuff like that over the last 6 to 8 months, that if COVID didn't happen in 2020, then the cycle top of last top would have been in 2022. It was like COVID and, everything that happened with COVID, the money printing, the drop of interest rates to zero, the stimulus checks, all of that pulled the cycle top forward into 2021. Because if it had to happen naturally, much more slower QE, slower drop of interest rates, it probably would have, the cycle top of last cycle would have been in 2022. So that, it changed everything. So if you want to pull it forward, you have to have a really big crash first, right? And but yeah, that would have been a 5-year cycle, last cycle. I always, for people to know, I've always been saying the first 2 cycles were 2 years. The next 2, the third and fourth cycle, were 4 years. Bitcoin's first cycle top was in June of 2011, and then 2.5 years later, right? So first 2 cycles are 2.5 years. Then 2.5 years later, in December of 2013, you got another cycle top. And yeah, and I was following the burst of liquidity as time went on over the years. I was like, oh, like, I think I'm on to something. Like, every single time there's a cycle top, there's this huge burst in the money supply and liquidity in the market, like a little over a year beforehand, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So this cycle, we haven't had that yet. Everything has been completely flat. We had like negative growth in liquidity, right? So the business cycle is not going up and down like usual. We've been in our bear market. The economy, not crypto, has been in a bear market for the last 4 years. And when you adjust Bitcoin to be relative to gold, you realize that Bitcoin has been flat all this time. It has maintained its purchasing power and its value. It only increased in USD because it's been catching up with inflation. Like I keep on saying, Bitcoin itself, it's relatively the same. It's like Bitcoin itself is like the same as all the other products that I was, in the video I talked about last week. It was like, a hot water heater, a sofa, your food, everything is almost double, or like almost double the price that it was 5 years ago. Bitcoin, the same thing. The top was 68K in last cycle. Top of this cycle is 126K. Again, almost double. Everything is almost double. So like, we've been in a bear market this whole time. So it's time to get out of it, man. And I drew this, what did I do? Go back to USD. Yeah, I drew this line right here and said, we're waiting for this. We're waiting for this to happen, right? We're waiting for PMI to start going up. waiting for PMI to start going up, because then so Bitcoin will start going up with it afterwards. Probably, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months later, Bitcoin will start going up afterwards. What else we got going on over here? All right, that's that. Alt season. Yeah. Yeah, the thing with alt season, I had thought, like, everybody was wrong here. Like, it was, everything was unexpected this time around, this year. All this time I thought that, maybe we're not going to get our cycle top until 2027, but we're going to get a nice end of year run up. And it all makes sense, right? And I thought the ETFs were going to, like, induce alt season, which made sense. But there were two things that were unforeseen that happened. That in the end of October, Jerome Powell removed that certainty about an interest rate cut that's supposed to happen on December 10th. And so the market had to correct. We're like, oh, now the interest rate cut might not happen. And then the government shutdown sucked the liquidity out of the market. So at that particular moment, those things combined made it obvious that we're going to have a red November. Totally obvious. So now we're in a situation where the government shutdown ended, and it looks like we're going to get that interest rate cut again. So that's bullish news. But the red November caused Bitcoin to go below that 50-week moving average, and it caused all the 4-year cycle zombies to say, whoops, we're below the 50-week moving average. It's time to sell, because we're going to be in a bear market. And they're selling, and they're selling, and they're selling, and they don't stop selling. And they're keeping us below the 50-week moving average. Because if not for those 4-year cycle zombies, we would go above the 50-week moving average, because there's massive amounts of people that are selling and exiting the market. If they weren't doing that, we would be in some good times right now. So, all right, we'll see what happens. I don't think that we're going to get a pump, tomorrow and the next day and so on, because of the interest rate cut, because it's kind of being priced back into the market again. We might get that dead cat bounce. We might go up to that 50-week moving average. But then, because the 4-year cycle zombies are expecting us to get a dead cat bounce, they're going to sell when we go up to the 50-week moving average, and they're going to, again, cause the dead cat bounce. They're going to be the ones creating a resistance on Bitcoin and pushing it down. Well, I had previously said, if not for that problem with Jerome Powell removing certainty from the market, if not for the government shutdown, I had said that we're going to have a difficult time with those green candles at the end of the year in our end of year rally, because they're going to sell at the slightest green candle, and they're going to create resistance. They're going to suppress the market. But now they're creating resistance in the red. So they're not even seeing green candles. They're creating resistance in the red. So it kind of sucks. But like I said, it's a transfer of wealth from them to us. So we have to stay with it. And we're going to survive in the long run. In the long run, we'll be good. What else I got going on? All my tabs went inactive, right, to save memory. Wallet added 8 million Kaspa, balance 1 billion. Yeah, it's wallet number 1. Oh, this is all new. This is number 5th. Yeah, I know this whole thing with Binance going on and being against Binance and exiting Binance and Kaspa holders, blah, blah, blah. I think wallet number 1 is Binance, and they're just keeping it quiet. I really do. I think it's obvious. The word is out. Obviously, I just shared something where Bernstein, the analyst, whatever, that institutional analyst agency, whatever, says the cycle top is in 2027, like I've been saying. I think that CZ and everybody in the know at Binance, they know the cycle top is in 2027. I think they're just not going to list Kaspa until just like a few months before they know the cycle top is going to happen. I think we're probably not going to see Kaspa and Binance until 2027. That's what I think. And I think this is all a show that's happening right now. Unless something happens, you know, because a lot of people are saying, a lot of Kaspa maxis are saying, you know, they're gonna stop doing business with Binance because of this. So then there might be a problem. Then they'll have to choose between, you know, Binance have to choose between not losing people and you know, and listing Kaspa early and stuff like that. So who knows? I think it's kind of crazy. I think it's obvious that anybody in their right mind would not list Kaspa. Coinbase, they would not list Kaspa until they know the cycle top is going to happen. And there's no reason to list Kaspa right now on Coinbase, Crypto.com, Binance right now. If there's no euphoria, there's no euphoric phase. It would be crazy, right? You don't look at it like this. If you're a market maker and you have the opportunity to get on a coin that is eventually supposed to be the one that's going to replace Bitcoin, like the one, right? If you have that opportunity, wouldn't you want to keep that thing low for as long as possible, you know, until it explodes? Wouldn't you want to keep it as low for as long as possible so you can keep stacking it? Because that's what I want, right? That's what I want, right? Like, why wouldn't the market makers want that? Like, wouldn't you want to keep it as low for as long as possible and keep stacking and keep building your bags? Because you know that in 10 years, it is going to be, you know, insanely, it's going to be, if not number one, it's going to be like in the top 5 in 10 years, right? But wouldn't you want to just keep it low to keep stacking? So, yeah, I mean, no, that's my thought. That's my take. You know, I want to talk about Pippin. Let's go over Pippin a little, you know, as I put in the thumbnail and stuff like that. But Pippin has been ripping, man. I was going down today. Everything's down today. I was looking around to see if I can find something that's worthy of a swing trade this morning. I didn't really see. I saw a few pumps for like 20% and so on. Pippin, you know, was up 30%. So they're still doing pretty damn good. Look at that. Look at that for the day. Look at that. Look at that. Pippin is still ripping. Yeah. Pippin be pimping. Crazy, this meme coin. Crazy. And it's getting all these centralized exchanges. For those of you who don't know, I didn't see my video yesterday. Hold on, let me go to my Discord. Let me search for Pippin and show you guys what I got. All this cool tech that we got in this community, like the best community ever. For those of you who are not in, you don't know what you're missing, but I'm going to show you what you're missing right now. So this is my Discord and my community, right? So Pippin has this phenomenon where it's a meme coin. It's like an AI meme coin. And it stopped, the activity on its X profile stopped abruptly in August. And yet the thing has been swinging like crazy, up and down, up and down. And I've been swing trading and building my bags. I got a pretty hefty bag right now of Pippin. So that's why I love Pippin. I love Pippin. And one of the things I noticed when Pippin started ripping in the last 3 weeks, I'm like, why the hell is this thing of all things? It's like, we're below the 50-week moving average. Everybody believes we're going into the crypto winter. Why the hell is this thing performing like crazy? I'm like, it's like up for like 30x from where it was a few weeks ago. So I'm like, you know, I go into my community because we monitor our coins. We monitor all of them, right? And like, I know that it's been getting centralized exchanges because I have all this tech integrated into my community. So we've been monitoring our Pippin, like Bioeconomy, BTCC, Biloxi, you know, it's like, this is November 13th, November 27th, November 30th, December 2nd, December 5th, December 5th. It's just getting one after another, centralized exchange after another. So they're very, very active. The team is very, very active. They've got it going on. But for some reason, they're just not posting on X. So, and it's crazy. It has crazy, the Pippin itself has crazy amounts of liquidity. Like when I did my video about Pippin yesterday, I'm like, Toshi has like 2 million in liquidity and Pippin has like, you know, 8 million. It is like the market makers have it under control. The open interest is like It was when I checked it yesterday, it was higher than the market cap. It was 180 million when the market cap was 179 million. So Pippin be ripping, man. I don't know if you should get into it at this particular moment. You have to find a good entry point, but it is crazy because if you look at the month, it looks like this, right? Like I was swinging it, man. I bought it over here. I went back down. I bought it over here. I think I got it to this point down here where I started selling, and then I was selling and selling and selling. I did like a 50% sell, and thinking it's gonna just come back down, and it didn't. I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna sell 10% and 10% and 10%, and the current price is still above my sell average, so I can't buy back in now, right? Because that's not the point. Is you're supposed to buy back in when it's below your sell average. So it would be nice at this point if they would come down at least a little bit, but either way, I mean, my bag is still growing. Accumulated quite a bit of USDT selling this bad boy, and it's still growing. So, but yeah, it'll eventually come back down, and I'll just buy back in. But today is crazy. It's actually doing pretty good today. It's up 27% for today. Like, yeah. All right, so where am I at right now? Yeah, Kaspa plus VPROGs. Yeah, I know. Not everything is bullish about Kaspa. Everything is bullish about Kaspa, and everything is bullish about the whole market in general, man. I don't know what these 4-year cycle zombies are doing. They're getting out at a time like this, man. It's nuts. Crazy. Imagine getting out of the market in like the equivalent is like getting out of the market in like September of 2020. Just getting out of the market. That would be crazy, right? Because in October, when the bull market started in October of 2020. And if you look at the chart, it just keeps going up for 13 months until the cycle top of 2021. It's just suddenly starts in October and it keeps going up. Now we had a retracement in April for a few months, and that was based on the pi cycle top indicator and everybody selling. We ended up with a scenario where people thought the top was in because of a particular indicator, and they caused it to go down again because they were selling, and just went back up because of liquidity. So that's what these 4-year cycle zombies are going to experience right now with selling, because we went below the 50-week moving average, they're going to be surprised, and it's going to eventually go back up. It took 3 months in 2021. We'll see how long it takes right now to surprise everybody. But I'm saying getting out of the market now is crazy. It's like the equivalent is like getting out of the market in September of 2020, which is they're saying, oh, there's not going to be any bull market. And then it just starts in October. So we're going to be approaching that period soon. It's not going to happen yet. Probably not a few months. We need PMI to start doing this, and by the time it starts to curve up, it could be months down the road. You know, it could be 3 months. It could be 6 months. It could be after May when Powell gets replaced by Trump's pick for Fed chair and so on. But yeah, we'll see. Other bullish news in Kaspa, yeah. So Lehman Bush, an international advisory and investment firm operating across Asia, the Middle East, and Africa, is now processing a plan to establish a regulated fund manager within Abu Dhabi's ADGM. I'm not sure what that means, but the entity is intended to oversee a Kaspa-focused qualified investment fund with a target size of 500 million. So yeah, I'm saying, yeah, like everything is bullish, right? Everything is being lined up. I think maybe the next 5 years are going to be grand for Kaspa. I mean, like I said, we might see a crash somewhere between now and the next 5 years, but in the long run, things are looking good. Things are looking good. If you're not exiting the market, I think you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. I think so. Fingers crossed, and not financial advice. Just slap you, man, or punch you in the balls. You think this is financial advice. Nobody talks about financial advice around here. A wake-up call, right? What else we got going on? I got other stuff here. Oh, this is funny. Bitcoin and altcoins. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I think this has got to be AI. I don't. Unless it's just some idiot. This person wanted to wake up this person. Just and that ended up happening. But yeah, crazy amounts of AI videos like this nowadays, right? Crazy amounts of AI videos. Oh, this is not crypto related. It said bro had a girlfriend for 2 minutes. Look, apparently she sat down and her boyfriend is recording her with somebody else, and she actually ate his food. I figured I'd just add this into the stream. Why not? Crazy, crazy. She actually ate his food. Look at that. Look at that. Crazy. Another thing I want to talk about. Look at this. So this is really strange. So I posted a poll on my YouTube community post section, right? And I said, is it a good thing that CodeMonkey Mike has better calls and tokens than other KOLs and charges half the price to be in his community? There were 35 votes, and 9% of them said, I prefer to be rugged by other KOLs. Like, do I have a... Bruh. I mean, do I have I don't know, man. That's crazy. Like, what are people thinking? So... I don't know, guys. But anyways, talking about my community, like I said, you know, we got this 30x on Pippin. Even in this bearish time period, we got this 30x. It's been crazy. So I got one of the best communities ever, and I've told you, I've showed you a bunch of tech. I've told you about it. These are a bunch of plays. Oh yeah, damn! I made my video about Pippin too. I always forget to just add in my plays here. So I got to add in Pippin, of course. But yeah, whenever we have a green month, we go flying. Most of these from this year are from like either May and June or September and October. When we have a green month, man, we go flying. And we have the occasional outlier in a red month with Pippin be ripping. And then last year, look at all these crazy gains. So link in the description. If you want to look at the website, you go to the homepage and you go down here, you can see this right here, and then click on see more and so on. You want to see all these plays. But like I said, you know, we have all that tech that tracks the centralized exchanges of all our tokens. We have swing trading software that helps us to swing trade. We have highly advanced bots that took like thousands of engineering hours to create that finds all these new tokens. Like it found NYX for us at a 6 million market cap, did a 550x, right? Pumped to over 3 billion. You know, same thing with de-aging AI, found it. I forgot what the market cap it was, but it was like 15 million or whatever, but you know, 15, 20 million and pumped it again, like the 3 billion. So we did, what was it? Did we find it? Is that, yeah, it was like 20 million or something like that when we got in 20, 30 million, but yeah, pumped to 3 billion. Yeah, this is crazy with de-aging AI. It was absolutely insane. The 94x on tutorial on BNB. We got a whole bunch of others. You know, like we probably have at least 100 others that are going to do at least a 10x, right? And then there's going to be like 5 or 10 that are going to be in those 100x to 500x ranges. So click the link in the description below if you want to get into some of the action. I figured I talk about the best crypto group ever. I still have other stuff here that I didn't pull up yet, but I was just talking about this. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, and like to say, I charge half the price. Right? You have other KOLs that you know, I have other, you know, there are other KOLs out there that charge like double this amount. The difference between premium and VIP is that premium, you can just DM me and talk to me directly, but you do get everything with VIP. This is, for now, this is like a limited deal for December. I might bring it back if you want to get in cheaper. It's like a Black Friday deal. I think in the long run, like I have 100 community members right now, but in the long run, if I get like, you know, 300, 400, 500 members, you know, everybody DMing me is going to be overwhelming. So I have to really separate those price ranges. But yeah, you get other KOLs charge like 150 a month, 200 a month. They have nowhere near the amount of plays that we get. They have nowhere near the amount of, you know, multipliers that we have. And you know, I don't have any software, any tech, any tools, anything, you know, that I have, right? And I do have that $1,000 bounty open. If you can find any other community with a success rate that I have and all the software and tech, you know, you let me know and I'll look into it. And if you're right, if there's a community out there that's better than mine, I will give you $1,000. The first person to do that. And I've had that bounty open for more than a year and nobody's come forward. So that goes to show you what we got going on in here. It's red right now. Things are red. And now's a good time to get into some of the plays we got. So we're gonna be flying like this and this and this. You know, it's gonna be crazy. We're gonna be absolutely flying. But yeah, what else we got going on over here? So we got that. Yeah, it's interesting. I found this from Watcher Guru. Trump says he believes China will increase trade with us following a call from President Xi. It's interesting. So interesting to see good news with trade and so on that I didn't expect right now. So always good to see some more good news with trade. Things are good looking forward for the economy on the whole. So hopefully that PMI starts going up soon. Michael Saylor says that major banks are embracing Bitcoin much faster than expected. 8 out of 10 have flipped their stance in the last 6 months. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. Let's see.
8 years would be 4 banks in the world to embrace crypto, to embrace Bitcoin. In 4 to 8 years would be fast. What you see here is it's happening much faster. What we've seen is BNY Mellon, PNC Bank, Citibank, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Vanguard, all of these have flipped from a hostile, negative, or skeptical view to a positive view in the last 12 months, right? Perfect. We have announcements. Schwab is going to custody Bitcoin and extend credit against crypto assets early next year. Citi is doing the same thing. It used to be, you know, I couldn't get a loan against Bitcoin from any major bank. And now, if I counted the top 10 banks in the United States, 8 of them are actually engaged in crypto lending, and they've all flipped their stance in the last 6 months.
Yeah, good news. Yeah, everything sounds like good news, right? I was like, why would you want to get out of the market at a time like this? Why would you want to exit the market? It's kind of crazy. Even selling at a loss, it's absolutely nuts. Tom Lee says Bitcoin and crypto have bottomed. We're going to shatter Bitcoin 4-year cycle over the next 8 weeks. I hope so, dude. I hope so over the next 8 weeks. We need to break above that 50-week moving average. And then once we do that and stay above it for 2 weeks, I think, yeah, we're going to go flying. If we get above that 50-week moving average and stay above it for 2 weeks, I think that's it.
Number 2, I think crypto prices have bottomed. And I think that in the next 8 weeks, we're going to shatter the Bitcoin 4-year cycle. I don't think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, you guys, get in on this community. And yeah, I mean, we got all this. We got some good stuff. Like I said, we got the insider alert. We got different jobs, different different highly advanced bots that call our tokens and help us make lots and lots of money. All these other things that other communities don't have, and
that's why Code Monkey Mike has the greatest crypto community on the planet.
Even Schwarzenegger says it, so click that link in the description below. I'm going to sign out. I want to catch you guys. Oh, wait a minute. I don't want to do that right now. Wait a minute. Let's refresh the FinViz, right? Let's see what happened with the jobs report. So the jobs openings came in better than expected. Okay, so that's good news for people being employed, but is not good news for the interest rate cut. Jolt's job openings. Why are there 2? Okay, so this is, oh, wait, this is, Okay, this is September. This is October. Is that what we're getting right now? We just got this data right now? All right, September was better than expected. There was no expected for October. This is for October. But it was better than prior. Right, so prior was September, so October was better than prior. Yeah, like I said, this is, it is what it is. This is good news for people, for the economy, for people staying employed and keeping their jobs. But obviously, we need a bad jobs report to ensure an interest rate cut tomorrow. But we'll see what happens, guys. Anyways, guys, click the link in the description below. Right, you want to get in before things start flying, because it's always a good time to get in at the bottom. So, and I'm going to catch you guys later.
Code Monkey, Code Monkey.